Yo, welcome to another episode of Simply Bitcoin Live. We're your number one source for the peaceful Bitcoin revolution. We cover breaking news, culture, medic warfare. We will be your guide through the separation of money and state. And it's one of those episodes. We're going to talk about the separation of money and state. Saifedean was just brought on as an official economic advisor. To be specific, he was just brought on as an economic advisor to the National Bitcoin Office of El Salvador. Now I'd be like, okay, that's noise. Doesn't mean anything. Well, it does mean something, right? Because at the end of the day, Saifedean is an economist, but he's an Austrian economist. But specifically an economist that supports Bitcoin, right? And Saifedean talks about this all the time. Most economists all around the world, and what those schools also teach, right, is Keynesian economics, fiat economics, right? And kind of one feeds the other mouth, right? Like it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy system. The system's incentivized to educate these types of economists, right? Because that's how the system survives. So for the first time, right, in a very, very long time, El Salvador is trying something different, right? They're trying a different economic style, an economic style that's based on sound money. And if you look at history, right, sound money tends to do very good things to economies and to countries and all that stuff. But it's an absolutely historical moment, and I can't believe we're here. I'm so excited for the next 5-10 years. I'm so excited for what is going to happen in El Salvador. I think it's going to blow everyone's minds away. And then also it starts to become like all the other countries that, are on a fiat standard or looking at Keynesian economics. They're looking at this and they're looking at El Salvador. And if they're not benefactors of the fiat system, if they don't have the privilege of being able to just print money out of thin air like the US and the European countries and Switzerland. It's like a handful of countries that are able to do this. They're going to start asking questions. And remember, there's a couple of countries that, whether it's Ecuador, whether it's Panama, there's like a handful of countries that don't even get to dictate their monetary policy because they're dollarized. Like if you go to Ecuador, they use dollars. They don't even use their own local fiat currency. So they're not really incentivized, right? And this is part of the reason that El Salvador made Bitcoin legal tender, by the way. They're dollarized. They've been using the dollar for a while. So they don't even get to dictate their monetary policy, right? So I suspect that was one of the influences that got Nayib Bukele to be like, okay, we got to try something different, right? So I think it's a historic moment. I can't say that enough. I got some tweets by Beauty on to emphasize that. Got some tweets by other people as well. And we're gonna cover basically, what a sound money standard would do to countries. We're gonna get some sauce from Saifedean's book as well, which I highly recommend if you haven't read it, which is the Bitcoin standard. But this is crazy. What a good day to be a Bitcoiner. It's almost as if we stay winning. Anyways, Opti, how you doing, bro? What's up?
Doing
dude?
Great, bro. Absolutely wonderful today on this beautiful day on planet Earth.
We
being
keep winning,
a Bitcoiner,
bro.
and just staying winning. It's almost like we are
winning.
ushering in the bright orange future.
Right?
It's almost like we're living through hyper Bitcoinization right now.
Are we surfing the wave? Are we surfing I feel like we're surfing the wave, dude. Like this is nuts.
Hey, this is hyper Bitcoinization happening in real time. So lower your time preference out there because it is happening a lot quicker than we can even imagine. And what's CK always say? We are not smart enough to be bullish enough on Bitcoin. And I think this is what we're seeing happen in real time. So I don't know. I'm excited to get Nico Jones on the case. I know you're well rested. So I'm hoping that Nico Jones shows up today and we get a nice epic rant.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm really, really bullish. I can't look. Maybe this sounds corny. I personally look. El Salvador, if you translate it to English, literally means the savior. And I don't think that's a coincidence. I think what is happening in El Salvador is going to prove to the world on nation state level that not only is Bitcoin a viable alternative to fiat currencies, but it's a better alternative. And then on the public company front, Michael Saylor is proving that as well, that Bitcoin, is it's not only, an alternative to holding fiat, it's just a better alternative. And what are the implications to that? Geopolitical implications. What are the implications in terms of the relationship between individuals and their governments? How that's going to change? And we're just watching all this happen in slow motion. What a crazy, crazy time to be alive. Anyways, Opti, what are we going to cover during the culture, my friend?
Well, we were supposed to have a guest here, but I don't know where he went today. So I pivoted, and it's about the conversation we're having here today about we are witnessing hyper Bitcoinization right now. I do have a few tweets that we'll use as jump off points, but maybe we'll get a little conversation back and forth between Nico and I today.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. All right, everybody, no more delay. Let's jump straight into the show. Let's do it.
The Bitcoin numbers.
Brought to you by Nodl. At this point, you should be running your own Bitcoin node. If you don't use your own Bitcoin node, you're trusting someone else's. Run your own version of Bitcoin Core, the Lightning Network, Whirlpool, and Dojo, all from the comfort of your own home. And if you're a digital nomad, you have absolutely no excuse, because now you can run a Nodl through a virtual private server. Visit nodl.eu today. All right, everybody. I also want to tell everybody about the biggest Bitcoin conference on the face of the earth, Bitcoin 2024. Bitcoin 2023 just wrapped up in Miami. It was so much fun. It was so awesome to see a lot of you guys in person, in the flesh, in Miami. They're changing locations next year, the year of the halving. Bitcoin 2024 is going to be in Nashville, Tennessee, July 25th through the 27th. And you can get your early bird tickets. They're at a massive discount. For GA, it's $299. And for Industry Day, which I recommend, especially if you're trying to get a job in the industry, it's only $749 for 3 days. And mind you, you can take advantage of the promo code SIMPLY to get a 10% discount on your tickets. Or you could wait and the prices go up. It's up to you. Anyways, at the time of recording, the Bitcoin price is $27,650. Block height is, their sats per dollar is 3,617. Block height is 792,125. Reachable Bitcoin nodes 17,096. Blocks to halving 47,875. Halving estimate April 20th, 2024. Total Lightning Network capacity 5,353. Bitcoin capacity value 148 million US dollars. Realized monetary inflation rate is 1.76%, and the market capitalization of Bitcoin $536 billion with a B. Anyways, so Luke shared this tweet not too long ago, and I want to talk about it. And I say my phrase, Bitcoin or slavery. I tweeted out some mornings, and I'm not exaggerating when I say that. In the United States, right, we clearly know how the Biden administration feels about Bitcoin. Whether it's Operation Choke Point 2.0 or the Dame tax, which would basically put a 30% tax on all Bitcoin miners. Like, I basically, just picking out the industry, we've made the case that the reason that they're doing that is not because of the environment, as much as they tell you that. It's because they want to be able to maintain that privilege, keep that privilege of being able to create money for free that everyone else has to work for. And what are their response to this, right? Their response to it, whether you look at, the Future of Money report that was written by the Treasury, in the eyes of the current administration, the future of money to them is central bank digital currencies. They mentioned stable coins as well, which they, of course, are going to mention that because they can co-opt them, right? Because they're centralized. And then, of course, payment platforms, which are inherently intermediaries, which are very easy for them to capture. So I'm talking about PayPal, I'm talking about Venmo, right, et cetera, et cetera. But what was not written in that report is Bitcoin. In the eyes of the current government, of course, it's not written in that report. And the reason for that is simple. There's no inflation in Bitcoin, right? And without inflation, governments can't spend as much money as they're spending now, right? That whole system kind of has to reinvent itself. And I mean, this was covered in the book, The Sovereign Individual. Highly recommend you read it. They predicted all of this. They said information technologies is going to allow individuals to opt out of state currencies. And of course, the state's going to fight back. So what is their mechanism of fighting back? Well, it's central bank digital currencies, right? And that's why I say Bitcoin or slavery. Bitcoin is freedom, and central bank digital currencies is slavery. And you're going to have to trust these people. And mind you, remember what happened during the Canadian truckers protest. You're going to have to trust these people not to censor your money, not to implement social credit systems like is already happening in China. Right? Do you really trust, after the last 2 or 3 years, do you really trust these politicians not to do that? Anyways, so here's like a quick update. It says today in 2023, 105 countries are racing to deploy a central bank digital currency. Right. It goes on to say, we can see that of these 105 countries, 41% are currently in the research phase, 14% have a pilot program, 9% have launched a full-scale central bank digital currency. Now, where's the worst region in the world to be in if you want to hide from central bank digital currencies? Surprise, surprise, I think this could be the Caribbean islands. Hear me out. The Bahamas was the first country to launch a CBDC in October 2020. Yes, that was even before China, but things are even more interesting when we learn about something called Dcash. Dcash is the digital currency issued by the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank. It is used by 7 of the 8 countries under the EC, Eastern Caribbean Currency Union. These include Dominicana, Grenada, and St. Lucia. The next worst place to hide from CBDC shouldn't surprise. Asia. We can see in Southeast Asia, China. You know, we've heard the horror stories of China, which, by the way, I think the West is looking at China as an example, right? That's what they want to go. That's where they want to go to. Imagine these bureaucrats, and they're looking at China. We're like, holy cow, we literally get to control people. In China, if your social credit system is not high enough, they will literally not let you travel. You cannot get on a train. You have to scan your face before you get on subways and trains and whatever. So it's like they force you. It's like a forcing function for you to behave the way that the bureaucracy and the system wants you to behave. That to me is terrifying. So apply this to what food you can eat. Oh, you ate way too much steak, in the last month. Sorry, social credit system going down. Sorry, your CBDC. Also, we've heard in China that the idea that your money would have an expiration date as well, right? If you don't use your money by a certain date, it literally expires. It forces you to spend. That is a central banker's wet dream. That's the world that they envision, which is absolutely dystopian. And what is the alternative to this? The alternative to this is Bitcoin. Right? It has to be decentralized. It has to have rules without rulers. It has to have the ability to resist the government's inevitable attempt to co-opt it. And only Bitcoin, because Bitcoin's the only one that's truly decentralized, is the only one that's going to be able to resist governments in that front. So Nigeria is the largest country in Africa, and they were the first country in the region to introduce a CBDC in 2022. They also banned Bitcoin and even put withdrawal limits on bank accounts, attempting to convert deposits into the central bank digital currencies. Surprise, something surprising happened next. Only 0.35% of Nigerians adopted the government mandated central bank digital currency. The people flocked to Bitcoin as Nigeria currently has some of the highest levels of Bitcoin adoption in the world. Will you be able to do the same as Nigeria and even escape to a country without a central bank digital currency? And it tells you the adoption rate, which we've covered. Now, the Nigerian example is really interesting, right? And the reason for that is, okay, so their proposal is efficiency of payments, right? Central bank digital currencies are necessary because they make payments more efficient. If you live in the US, right, payments are already extremely efficient. You have Zelle, you have PayPal, you have Cash App, you have all these payment platforms that make paying digitally extremely easy. So you'd like, why do they need a central bank digital currency, right? And that's how they sell it to you, right? They're like efficiency of payments, efficiency of payments. But the weak point, the point where they leave out, right? And they left this out of the report that the Treasury wrote. They left this out when in the presidential economic report that came out of the White House, they left this out as well, is that people are opting out of central bank digital currencies, not because they're looking for more quote unquote efficient payments, right? I think that's a straw man argument. The reason that they're opting out of central bank digital currencies is because they're opting out of inflation. It's about inflation. It's about their currency being devalued, and they can't protect that. They can't defend that. That's an indefensible position, especially now that there's an alternative that proves that now not only is inflation not necessary, your money could actually increase in purchasing power over time. So that is a point where we have to highlight it. We have to shine light on it because they can't defend it, right? We want to get them to a point where they will admit, and it's getting to this. Like, mind you heard what Brad Sherman said in a pretty viral video, which we played you on Simply Bitcoin, right? Which is like, these crypto bros, they're just creating money. And, they say that the US government does the same. And then Brad Sherman, in his hubris, he says, but we can do that because we're the US government. Well, I got something very simple. I got a response very simple for Brad Sherman, right? I refuse to work for money that another man can create for free, even if you're the US government. I don't give a shit who you are. I refuse to work for your money that you can just create for free that everyone else has to work for, right? And that's the point. That's the reason why Nigerians are opting out. They're not opting out because they're seeking efficient payments. They're opting out because their state currency continues to be devalued because governments are addicted to printing money and governments are addicted to spending money they don't have, right? You see this in Argentina, you see this in Nigeria. And the reason I say it's a weak point, the reason that I say it's an indefensible position on their end is because they don't bring it up. They don't bring up inflation, right? And this is why, to tie it in with today's news, today's headline news, it is so historical that El Salvador is making Saifedean, the author of the Bitcoin Standard, an Austrian economist, an economic advisor to the country. That's why it's so historic. That's why the IMF freaked out the way they did with El Salvador. That's why in the U.S. House of Representatives, or I think it was the Senate, they passed a resolution basically looking into El Salvador making Bitcoin legal tender. It freaks them the hell out because if enough people wake up to this new world, this new reality, that, hey, you as an individual get to pick and choose what currency you want to use. The government doesn't force it upon you. It changes a lot of the power structures. And of course, the old power structures want to fight back. And we have Tucson Bitcoin, shout out, kaboom, Rax. Inflation is good for you. Quit complaining and being a snowflake, you millennial. Stop living in your mom's basement. When I was a kid, we didn't have inflation. Beautiful, beautiful. Very well said, Tucson. Anyways, Opti, am I being too crazy? Am I speaking too much truth? What's going on, bro?
Well, no, I mean, hey, I'm a Bitcoiner as well, and I endorse everything you just said. I mean, the Nigeria news of the CBDC, we've been covering this for a while, is one of the things that make me just so bullish on humanity, is something that we say all the time on the show. When people are giving the option, the clear option of using a money that is designed to steal from them or one that retains their value, and as the saying goes up forever, Laura, humans obviously choose a money that isn't designed to rob them. And this is the world that I want to live in. The current world that we find ourselves in, that everyone finds themselves in, that is obviously most people unaware of the fact that they are being stolen from via their paper money, is a world that is designed to steal and siphon value from you without you understanding it, without your consent. And that's why we find ourselves in the state that we are in the world today. And just imagine a world that doesn't have kleptocratic psychopaths stealing your value. It would be a beautiful world. You'd be able to, fund and put your value where you think it should go, instead of, basically having some of that value taken away for things that you probably don't agree on. So, I mean, going back to that Luke thread, what do you say? 105 countries are working on CBDCs. That's 105 out of 195 countries in the world. That is almost every country in the world wants to retain, or rather steal your value, or rather involuntarily have non-consensual theft from you. I don't know about you, but this is not the world I want to live in. This is not a fair world. This is why, as Bitcoiners, we always tell you guys that Bitcoin is the best money in the world because it is the most fair, the most inclusive money in the world. And I was kind of thinking while we were going through that thread, there's a lot of Bitcoiners that say like a CBDC won't happen. And while I kind of agree because it would destroy like the commercial banks, as Marty Bentz says, it seems like there is a worldwide move towards a CBDC. And what do we say here all the time? It is Bitcoin or slavery. It's almost like the powers that be think of you as slaves, little peasant. You know, as Tucson was saying, there was no inflation in my day. Quit complaining about it. How is this the status quo of the world today, where all the monies of the world, where all of humanity is corralled into a money that is designed to steal from us? It's absolutely ludicrous. This is the experiment. This is the exception to the norm. We've only had paper money for about 100 years, and now it is a global phenomenon. And this is what Bitcoin fixes. What do we say all the time? Or what's the Bitcoin meme? Fix the money, fix the world. This is where everything is starting from. It is from a broken money. And this is why we are seeing so much pain on a social level, on a cultural level. This is why we have devolved as a society, is because there's this small cabal of people that are stealing the world's wealth and diverting it to themselves and what they think is best. And as we know, as Austrian economists, or maybe amateur Austrian economists, there's no such thing as central planning a complex economy. So individuals know what's best for themselves. Individuals will innovate. Individuals will find the best way to use their money. And this is why we are Bitcoiners. This is why we continue to tell you guys to save in Bitcoin, take Bitcoin into self-custody, opt out of this madness. There is a solution, at least a starting point, which is Bitcoin. Now, it's only a matter of time until people wake up to this. And as we're going to show right now in the news, like this is hyper Bitcoinization happening in real time, and it's just a slow trickle. TikTok, next block, they can't stop this as much as they want to because you guys run the Bitcoin network on your computers. You guys take Bitcoin into self custody. This is us winning. Let's fucking go.
Yeah, let's fucking go. We're winning. And I think central bank digital currencies are a response to Bitcoin winning. I think that's exactly what they're all about. Anyways, everybody, let's get to news. We got a lot to talk about. Let's check it out.
The Daily News.
The Daily News is brought to you by Blockstream Jade, built by Bitcoiners for Bitcoiners. It's an open source hardware wallet for the cold storage of Bitcoin. Check out the brand new limited edition color, the transparent green Jade. Blockstream Jade houses a full color camera, allowing for fully air-gapped Bitcoin transactions, scan and display QR codes directly on the device, assign transactions, and verify addresses with ease. Use your Blockstream Jade with your favorite wallet software, such as Blockstream Green, Blue Wallet, Electrum, Sparrow. Get yourself a Blockstream Jade today and take self-custody of your Bitcoin. Also, guys, I want to give a shout out to the Orange Pill app. The Orange Pill app is building the social layer for Bitcoin. As crazy as this sounds, without the people, Bitcoin is just ones and zeros. Bitcoin is the people. Bitcoin is you. It's me. It's Opti. It's Satoshi. Download the Orange Pill app for iOS or Android and connect with other Bitcoiners in real life today. Find other plebs that live near you, and you can go into the app totally anon and search for other Bitcoiners by common interests. Orange Pill app is also the world's biggest repository for Bitcoin only events. If you want to meet other Bitcoiners in real life, this is the app for you. Sign up through the app store and you can even pay in sats. Download the Orange Pill app, and we appreciate all the love and messages we're getting from you guys. Thank you so much. Opti and I do take the time to go through them and answer them. Anyways, here's the big news for today. This is a historic moment. I touched upon it in the very beginning in the opening monologue of the show. This is a divergence from how most countries look at their economy, right? They inherently, the system is inherently biased towards Keynesian economics, towards Keynesian economists. This is, I can't remember another time where a hardcore, not even just like an Austrian economist, no, a hardcore Austrian economist is brought in to be the advisor of a country, because it is a fundamental shift. It is complete change from how most countries view it today. Historic moment. Here's a tweet from the Bitcoin office. When the author of the Bitcoin Standard met the leader of Bitcoin country, Nayib Bukele and Saifedean, great things were bound to happen. We are excited to announce that Saifedean is joining us as economic advisor to the National Bitcoin Office of El Salvador. Welcome to the winning team, Dr. Ammous. Right, and here's a picture of Nayib Bukele and Saifedean. Here's Beautyon. Beautyon is the founder of Azteco, big fan of the company. They're doing great things. And he goes on to say, there will not be enough gold to pave the streets of San Salvador. Such will be the win of that great country. It's like a dream. Astonishing. Goes on to say, in case you don't know what this means, Professor Saifedean Ammous, Austrian school economist, the only economist who understand money, and the very rare example of an Austrian school economist who also understands Bitcoin, will now be advising El Salvador where Bitcoin is legal tender. This means the possibility of mistakes being made by El Salvador are drastically reduced because literally the best economic mind in Bitcoin is working for them directly. If you imagined a dream team like this and spoke the words, you would have been called delusional, but it's real. Bear in mind also that the history of fiat and economics Saifedean will bring to the table will greatly help El Salvador avoid other mistakes in other parts of the economy, further accelerating hyper growth across the entire country. 100% Stacy Max are historic figures. Shocking. And you know what? I completely agree. I couldn't have said it better myself. And that's why it's such a historic moment. This is a historic moment. This is going away from the status quo. Most countries, including the United States, they're big believers in the Keynesian model. Now, here is another reason it's such a big deal. Here's a key idea from the Bitcoin standard. And it goes on to say, sound money is the basis for a functioning economy. Sound money reached its high watermark in the 19th century. Paper money was backed by gold, a precious metal adopted by the free market due to the qualities that made it such an effective store of value. That in turn underwrote an era of prosperity. Let's take a closer look at how that worked. The first thing to note about sound money is that it's a great way of encouraging people to save and invest. The perfect recipe for sustainable long-term growth. Why? Well, humans have a natural positive time preference. We prefer instant gratification over future gratification. Sound money nudges us to think more about the future. After all, if we can reasonably expect our money's value to increase over time, it makes sense to take a look at what we can do now to maximize our future income. And that's what investments all about. Postponing gratification to today to reap greater rewards tomorrow. Investment thus leads to capital accumulation. People pump up money into producing capital goods, commodities that can be used to create other goods and revenue streams in the future. And the more capital accumulation there is, the greater the chance of stable long-term economic growth. The problem with unsound money is that it distorts capital accumulation. The reason for this is simple. When governments interfere with the money supply by say manipulating interest rates, they also interfere with prices. That's an issue because prices give investors the information they need to make good decisions without having to learn every tiny detail about global events. If a Malaysian businesswoman decides against expanding her offices because the cost of copper wiring has skyrocketed, she doesn't need to know what the price spike is due to a recent earthquake in Chile. The price tells her everything she needs to know. Government intervention, however, means that prices no longer reflect market movements. Investors don't have the information they need, thus distorting capital accumulation. Now, look, you could say that, Nico, that is a theory. You could say, Nico, fine, Saifedean is there, bullish tweet by Beautyon, but this hasn't happened yet. You're a fucking crazy person. You're talking crap. Fine. You could totally say that. You could totally say, I don't trust Nayib Bukele. He has dictatorial tendencies. I don't get what's going on there. I fundamentally agree with that. I'm a huge fan of what Nayib Bukele has done for two reasons. He has dramatically lowered the crime rate to historic lows. That is a proven fact. You can't deny that. and he's doing wonders for the economy. You cannot deny that either. You can't deny those two things. But you could say, okay, Nico, it's been too short to tell. Fine, you could say that as well. I've been living on a Bitcoin standard for 7 years. Opti has been living on a Bitcoin standard for a while now as well. And I could tell you what it's done to my life. I could tell you what it's done to the people around me that have adopted a Bitcoin standard. All the things that Saifedean just said right there about the delayed gratification. That's the key word, right? The key words, delayed gratification. Well, obviously you're going to delay gratification because if you spend your money now, it could potentially be worth more in the future. So all of a sudden you're very, very choosy on what you choose to spend your money on. And we live in a world where you're not only incentivized not to delay gratification, you're incentivized to spend in the moment because your money is losing purchasing power over time. And what they want to do with central bank digital currencies is even worse. They want to add an expiration date. So it's not even inflation rate. They're being more open about it. They're telling you the quiet part out loud. It's like, it's not even inflation that we want. No, this shit fucking expires on you, bro. Okay. And then what is the opposite? The opposite is Bitcoin. And this is precisely why I say Bitcoin or slavery. You see the slave world that they want. 103 countries are pushing this. And then you have the shining light, the shining country on the hill, the savior, which is El Salvador, proving once again by bringing Saifedean into the fold, they're going to try another way. And as Bitcoiners, can't say this because it hasn't happened yet, but I could speak for what it's done to my life, how my life has gotten better since I have individually adopted a sound money standard. If what has happened to me on an individual level happens on a country level, I can't even describe to you what that's like. And that's why Beauty On is saying the things that he's saying. That's why you have Michael Saylor so passionately talking about this thing. Michael Saylor on a public company level, Nayib Bukele on a country level. And remember, those two gentlemen, Michael Saylor is the beachhead, the beachfront, the vanguard for proving on a public company level that Bitcoin is a viable alternative to holding fiat. And on a countrywide level, Nayib Bukele is proving that as well. And what a crazy time to be alive. And I'm telling you that next cycle that we go through, there's going to be other public companies and there's going to be other countries. They're going to start breaking ranks. The rats are going to start fleeing the ship. They're going to start looking aside. It's like, yeah, you know what? Like, it doesn't kind of make sense. Like, I get you, IMF. I get you, World Economic Forum. Like, you guys have a lot of power and influence and I get you, but like, this Bitcoin thing looks dope and it's going to help me. And you're going to start seeing the ranks break. And you're already seeing this on a grassroots level. You're already seeing this in Argentina. You're seeing this in Nigeria. You're not seeing it on the government level, but you're seeing it on the most important level, which is the grassroots level. You're seeing it on the individuals level. They're breaking ranks. They're saying, yo, fuck your fiat money. Like this does not work for me. I'm dealing with double-digit inflation and you're trying to force me into using this currency. Are you really a government by the people for the people? Like, is this what democracy is meant out to be? Are you really working for me? Or are you working for yourself? And this kind of ties back into Bitcoin exposes all incentives. It's and I said this at Thank God for Bitcoin in my fireside chat with Gladstein. I said in the opening monologue that I had. One of my favorite features of Bitcoin that I don't hear enough people talk about is that it exposes incentives. It doesn't matter whether it's a government or a country or an individual, it exposes what you're really about. Wow, man. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful news today. I'm so hyped about this. And I'm looking forward for the halving party. Shout out to the Meme Factory. Shout out to Big Sean. Shout out to Greg Zag and all our boys over there, Yellow as well. This is hope. This is what Corey is talking about when he talks about the bright orange future, man. That this is in this world of darkness that we're all living through right now. We're all living through it. We see it. We see the clown world. We see shit breaking. See people just going into stores and just fucking stealing shit. And then you see, you know, the authorities just doing nothing. Well, that's because theft has been fucking normalized. It's been normalized. We live in a society where theft is just given the stamp of approval. And then Bitcoin says, no, things don't have to be that way. And I think whichever which way you decide to describe them, whether it's monetary demons, the unproductive class, the high level parasites like Opti says it, of course they're not going to be happy about this. Of course they're not going to be happy about this. You know, they've benefited from that money printer for way too long. But man, have I never been as bullish on the future than I am today after seeing that historic picture with Saifedean and the president of El Salvador, Nayib Bukele. Opti, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, man, love that. We did get a Nico Jones rant today. Anyways, first and foremost, I want to give a shout out to Beauty On. I love Beauty On's work. I know a lot of people give him crap on Twitter, but I think he's a very sober and level-headed Bitcoiner on Twitter. Well, actually, maybe not on Twitter, but in real life. Anyways, the next point is, as cliche as it sounds, the Bitcoin standard legitimately changed my life. There's few books in the world that I would say have changed my life, and that was one of those. And I know we get called cult members all the time, but hey, if we are a cult, this is a must reading. It is the Bitcoin standard. If you haven't read the Bitcoin standard by now, you should read it and or reread it. And as an American, it almost seems like the U.S. can learn a lot from what Bukele and El Salvador is doing.
They're gonna be last. They're gonna be last, dude. They're gonna be last. They're gonna be last. It's just like we talked about this.
Man.
We talked about this yesterday, Opti. They're gonna be last. Look,
without a doubt,
we're pushing hard. Like Opti and I, you know, we live here. We're gonna fight. You know, color within the lines, of course. You know, the U.S. government gets so much power and influence from being able to create money that I just, dude, like I see them fighting tooth and nail to protect that, and that's what they've done so far. Well, I don't even think it's gotten that bad yet.
I don't think so either, and I think all of us Bitcoiners are very aware that. And one of my friends, Mike Hobart, says this all the time. He's been on the show. You guys have seen him before. He's like, dude, the pain is going to get so much worse, and I think we need to prepare for that. But I also, being hopeful and optimistic as I am, I do feel like there is, the winds of change in the political sphere. It does seem like we are getting some lip service in regards to freedom and how the U.S. government is being angled as tyrannical and authoritarian. But man, let's get back on subject here. Like, shouts out to Bukele. He's got huge cojones. You know, I know people push back against Bukele a lot. Before I get claimed to be a statist, hey, I think it is undeniable at this point that Bitcoin has improved El Salvador, that Bukele has improved El Salvador. And I won't ever claim as a privileged Westerner to pontificate on what El Salvador should be doing to better their country. I have no idea what it takes to turn that Titanic around, but it seems from what I've seen that the people of El Salvador love Bukele. They love the fact that their country is improving. And I'm just over here watching. And from what I'm seeing, man, it's what we say all the time. Bitcoin is being validated on a nation state level. And it's almost like Bitcoin works and betters people's lives. And you just love to see it. We say it all the time. Nico just mentioned it. We are on the Bitcoin standard and our lives have improved. And if it can happen for us, then I know for a fact, if people follow the blueprint of stay humble, stack sats, then their lives will also improve. And what's the saying, it's easy to hear the blueprint, but it's a lot harder to follow through on the action behind just staying humble, stacking sats, saving in Bitcoin, taking Bitcoin into self-custody. Yes, we are still in the early adoption phase, in my opinion. We are still early as far as I'm concerned, and there is a learning curve. So shouts out to all of you who are taking the initiative, putting in the work, and Uncle Jimming your friends and families, and also just dispensing orange pills out there for everyone, because hey, I say it all the time, and I'm probably a broken record at this point, but we know what the problem is, guys. Every talking head, every political talking head from both sides of the aisle, every independent content creator that is, on one hand just loosely related to the political realm knows the problem. It is the money printer. We always talk about this. It's not a left or a right. It is an orange versus a green. We all know that the fact that they have the money printer, the fact that inflation is stealing our wealth, this is the problem. Well, El Salvador is continuing to prove that if you get on a Bitcoin standard, your country will improve. Shouts out to Saifedean for being an economic advisor, because I can only imagine how toxic those conversations are going to be. He's got to be one of the most toxic Bitcoiners.
You got, Mr. President Bukele, are you eating enough steak?
Oh man! Hopefully, he changes the food pyramid down there. Also, so maybe not just an economic advisor.
Is that like a thing that's going to start happening in Bitcoin countries?
Yeah, nutrition advisor as well.
Just steak maxis, just steak everywhere all the time.
Well, hey, you guys can do what you like, but you know what? You know what I always say, man. Eat some good food, hang out with good friends, save in Bitcoin, and your life will fundamentally change. And I actually have a meme on this today that it's just perfect. It's just perfect.
A good meme. All right.
But yeah, man. Awesome. I'm excited to see other countries do the same thing. And again, I think, what do you always say, Nico? This next bull run will not only vindicate but validate the Bitcoin signal, the Bitcoin message of get on the Bitcoin standard, and it will improve your lot in life. And what I always think of, one thing, what do humans want? They want to live a better life, and Bitcoin allows this for all of us.
Amen.
Full
to that.
stop.
Full stop. Amen to that, brother. All right, everybody. So you wanna make it over the finish line with all of your Bitcoin, and you got to do it by putting your generational wealth. You got to store your generational wealth properly. You can't store your 24-word seed phrase on paper. Paper is prone to fire damage, water damage. Your dog could eat it. You got to get yourself a BitPlates domino. It's easy to use, hard to destroy. BitPlates domino are designed to preserve Bitcoin wallet backup word seed words and passphrases, made from highly corrosion resistant 316 marine grade stainless steel, and it offers the ultimate protection against extremes of temperatures and, other things that could potentially happen. You could take advantage of the promo code SIMPLY at bitplates.com. Get 10% off any products on their website. Anyways, everybody, no more delay. Let's jump straight into the culture. Let's do it.
The Daily Culture.
Brought to you by SwanBitcoin.com. Swan is the best way to build your Bitcoin stack with automated Bitcoin savings plans and instant purchases, serving clients of any size from $10 to $10 million. We love Swan because they incentivize self-custody and dollar cost averaging. What are you waiting for? Visit SwanBitcoin.com today. All right, guys, I also want to tell you about Swan's new offer. Bitcoin is generational wealth, and you can secure your bright orange future with the Swan IRA. Real Bitcoin, no taxes. Swan offers both traditional and Roth options to best fit your needs. Create your IRA and start adding Bitcoin in less than 1 minute. Transfers and rollovers are available. Swan's Bitcoin experts will get you set up with no transfer fees and no minimum balance requirements. This is real Bitcoin, non-ETF or other derivative. Get the real thing and get it at Swan. Go to swan.com/IRA for more details. And of course, if you have any questions, doubts, or concerns, you could reach out to me on Twitter DM or the Orange Pill app, and I'll be happy to answer them. Anyways, Opti, what are we talking about today, brother?
All right, so I was going to save this one for when we didn't have a guest, but hey, I think it's perfect for today. I saw this tweet by CK. Shouts out to CK. He might be one of the most bullish Bitcoiners on Twitter, and that's saying something.
You're not bullish enough, bro.
Hey, I am bull-tarded AF. I think anyone that knows me knows that I stay bullish every single day, especially when the price is going down. That's even when I get more bullish. But anyways, this tweet right here, I think is fitting considering what we covered in the first part, in the numbers, and then also in the news. So we got CK Snarks here, and he goes, we are living in hyper-Bitcoinization, and it started when Satoshi started mining. And what do Bitcoiners always say? There's never been a bear market since 2009, since the beginning of Bitcoin, because this is what Bitcoin adoption looks like. This is what it looks like when a new commodity, a new money becomes monetized in real time. This is what Bitcoin taking over the world looks like. Yes, there is some volatility. Yes, there is ups and downs, but what do we always say here? And let me see if I have it right here for you guys right quick, because it is fitting.
It's going up forever, Lord.
We all know number is going up, and this is hyper-Bitcoinization, whether it is, Saylor putting his company on a Bitcoin standard, whether it is Bukele putting a nation on a Bitcoin standard, whether it's all of you guys joining the Bitcoin standard for your own personal finances. This is hyper-Bitcoinization. And I think I said it in the beginning of the week, or rather I said it last week. When we were in Miami, Nico and I had this conversation with BTC Sessions, aka Ben Sessions, and we all kind of realized one thing, and it's the idea of, I think we all need to zoom out a little bit at times. I know we say in the Bitcoin space, lower your time preference, but I think it is fitting, and sometimes we have to remind ourselves that this is happening so incredibly fast. The Bitcoin space moves so incredibly fast. We always say it every year, the same thing, like Bitcoin time happens, like so much happens in one Bitcoin year that you forget what time is. You're just like, okay, I jokingly say it every single day on Spaces, like the only time that matters is block height. But the point of this is, like, I think we're going to be doing this for a lot longer than we really understand. And I have these conversations all the time with my Bitcoin friends, and it's like, I'm convinced that I'm going to be doing this for like the rest of my life. Maybe it's not on Simply Bitcoin because we turn into Simply Lifestyle at that point, but I'm convinced that this Bitcoin experiment that we are a part of is going to take the rest of our lives. I don't think we are ever going to see the end of this. I think it's going to be a slow trickle of hyper-Bitcoinization, but this is what it looks like. And it makes me think a lot of my friends. And without getting into a bunch of different alternatives of what you should be saving in, some people say gold, some people say stocks. The main one I usually get is real estate. So before I get there, for you guys in audio, I have this meme. Of course, I add memes to my bit all the time because, hey, tweets are the bullets, memes are the artillery. Anyways, this is a meme by the Bitcoin conference. It goes, people who don't understand Bitcoin yet is the same phenomenon. As number goes up, it hits a bubble, quote unquote, and it goes, oh, I'll buy it when it dips, and then it goes lower, and then they go, oh, I will buy it when it goes lower, and this is just going to happen until infinity. Anyways, everyone will FOMO buy into it, but I really like this tweet right here from Bitcoin Therapist. He actually quote tweeted this guy Brandon. He goes, spot on analysis. I'd rather stack Bitcoin than service the debt on a home. And the reason I wanted to get to this point is because I know a lot of people in my position. Nico and I, we rent. As much as we want to buy a house, I am convinced I'll probably rent for a little bit, but to you guys out there that are thinking, oh, maybe I can just flip this Bitcoin into a house, or maybe I should buy and do a house or whatever. I think this is a mistake that a lot of us young people find ourselves in. And if you're older and you have a house, like, congrats. You should own a home. That's an asset that you should have. But I like this, and I try to speak to people of my age. I try to speak to my peers because we are the millennial class, and our future has been stolen from us. What do we say, Nico, all the time? Millennials are the brokest generation.
But like, hold on a second. So, like, that is a very strong tweet.
I know. I'm coming in hard here. I'm coming in hard.
Why don't you read it?
Let me read it. All right. So this is Brandon. He goes, worst mistake a young dude can make is buying a house while earning an average salary, solidifying your spot as a wage cut for the next 2 decades. Can't even go on a trip without stressing because you got a mortgage to pay off that Earthers memed you into. Down astronomically. Okay. But the case is,
let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about that, right? And I agree, stack Bitcoin instead. So, but let's talk about it. So if you are older, you are able to afford real estate without having to do this. This is a phenomenon that really affects the millennial generation, the Zoomer generation. We got screwed. In the last 2 years alone, real estate prices have doubled. And the reason for that is the money printing. Money printing makes asset prices go higher, whether it's the stock market, whether that's real estate. And the vast majority of the younger generation, whether it's Zoomers or millennials, you don't have savings. Your savings are in dollars and you're earning in dollars, right? So, you know, I don't want to give real estate advice. A lot of people take pride in owning a home, and, you know, I totally respect that. And that's, you know, a decision. But, you know, I think that, and a lot of Bitcoiners say this, I think real estate has been tremendously overvalued because people are just trying to maintain their savings, and they're using real estate as a mechanism to do that, where it was never really meant to do that. Like it was never meant to be a savings mechanism. Like a house was meant to be a house, right? But like, you know, if you are like a wealthy individual, let's say you're a plumber or you're a dentist and you make good money, right? You're forced to be a part-time investor just to maintain your savings, right? So like, let's say you make $250K, $500K a year. It's a lot of money, right? You're not gonna spend all that money. So what are you gonna do with your savings, right? You can't keep it in dollars. It's losing what, you know, at the peak, it was, if you believe the government numbers, but we know it's a lot higher than that, you know, 8% inflation, 9% inflation, right? So you can't keep it in dollars. So what are you going to do with the extra savings that you take home every month, right? You have to invest it. So you're forced to become a part-time investor, or even worse, outsource that responsibility to, you know, one of the wealth management banks like, you know, Goldman Sachs or whatever, JP Morgan, or, right, what do you also do? You put your money in real estate, right, as a savings mechanism. But that's crazy. Like, think about how absurd that sounds. Just to maintain your purchasing power, you're forced to invest. That is absurd. What Bitcoiners are saying, it's very simple. Just keep your money. Don't do anything. Just keep your money. You don't have to invest in real estate or invest in the stock and do research and like, should I buy Apple now? Should I buy Google? What are their earnings? You have to fucking learn that shit. Or you just buy Bitcoin and you take it into self-custody and you forget about it. Kind of changes the whole dynamic, changes the whole system. It completely uproots it. Anyways, Opti, I just wanted to jump in there. That was perfect. That was a hardcore tweet, my friend.
I know.
That was a hardcore tweet.
Speaking. Look, I'm gonna jump off some of these comments in here because they're hitting it right on point, and I think they get what I'm saying. First one, shouts out to my boy, a Miami girl rejected by wine but recommended for Opti. He says, Junson's advice still applies here. At some point, you can't stack sats and have to live your life. This is the Bitcoin struggle for real, no cap, no cap. And then this next one by Narwhal Tacos, and this is pretty much the crux of the situation. Again, I say this all the time. There's levels to this. Obviously, this is not one size fits all, tailor-made for every single person. We understand that we have a different demographic here on our show. We have it ranges from people like us. You know, I am literally the single millennial that Narwhals is talking about here. Is like, this is an argument that is really going to separate the single males from the long-term relationship males. I agree. If you guys are the older Bitcoiners, you know, the Gen X and boomers, by all means, I'm not telling you to sell your house. I'm not telling you to sell your chairs and all this. Like, I want a house, bro. I want the white picket fence dream as well. But I'm speaking to the young millennials out there, the Zoomers out there that are wondering what should be their best way moving forward. And obviously, owning a house is great. I definitely highly recommend it. But it is becoming very obvious that the status quo investment decisions of the past, which is basically what the 60, 40, 20, whatever portfolio. A lot of people are still saying that the only way to move forward in life is by investing in real estate. And I really like this tweet right here by Bushmaster, or this comment. I think he hits the nail on the head. He goes, real estate today is higher risk than insurance on the same. It's a liability, not an asset anymore. Buy to live in, but not to see it as an investment or saving mechanism. And I'm seeing this happen all the time by friends and family. It's the idea that maybe I should I should buy a house. And it's like, bro, if you have the money to buy a house, by all means, do it. But most of the people that I interact with, they do not have that much. They just have, you know, they're living paycheck to paycheck. And hence, I know I try to avoid putting the charts here on the show as much, but it's going up forever, Laura. You just need to hodl these Bitcoins. I need to find it, but you guys already know the deal.
It's going up forever, Laura.
And if you haven't seen it yet,
I can't believe he was dead serious.
If you haven't seen it yet, then I'm gonna do whatever I can to try to wake up more friends, because I really like this tweet from my boy Brandon. He did this yesterday on Memorial Day, or the day before Memorial Day, and he goes, I believe we have a duty to spread peace through Bitcoin all around the world as Americans, as citizens of the world, and anyone with any type of privilege in life. What did you do for the world? And I think this is the crux of the situation. I think Bitcoin is the most important freedom technology in the world right now. I think it's the most important thing any of us can be talking about, that can be spreading. And I just do not want to see more of my friends wreck themselves. I want to see them free. I want to see them build something that they are proud of. And yes, hey, if you got in real estate and you made double your money than the last couple of years, I have a few Bitcoiner friends that are telling us this. And I'm like, man, shouts out to you, bro. You bought in at the bottom. Let's go. Most people don't have this opportunity now. And this is why I'm saying I'm very convinced we're moving into a bull run. And I think this is the safest and best time to be holding Bitcoiner. I speculate every single day. All of life. Hey, hold on. As Saifedean and any Austrian economist knows, all of life is speculation, but we are not gamblers. You speculate on every single decision you've ever made in your life, whether that's walking across the street, whether that is, what your work's going to do, whether that is Bitcoin going up, whether your investment is correct or not. Everything is speculation, and this is just simple Austrian economics. I believe humans act purposefully, and sometimes you have to speculate on where humans are going. And this is what we're doing right now. Are we moving into a bright orange future? I believe so. I am speculating on this, Nico. This is not tea leaf TA.
Okay. I respect that. Anyways, before we move on to the meme review, I want to end the poll that we started.
What was the poll?
Is inflation theft? We had 122 votes. 96% said yes. And 3%, which I'm so curious, I want to know who those. I want to know who those people are. 3% out of the 120 votes said inflation is not theft. I suspect Opti's ex-girlfriend is watching the show.
Spooks in the chat confirmed,
and she got her friends to basically vote no. So. I don't know what you did to Christy Lagarde, but Opti definitely broke her heart somehow, and central bank digital currencies are her revenge against Opti. So you guys heard it here first. Opti is at fault for causing central bank digital currencies because he broke Christine Lagarde's heart. Anyways, everybody.
Somehow, some way, this is Opti's fault.
It is Opti's fault. Anyways, everybody, let's get to the meme review. We got some memes to review. Let's check it out.
The Daily Meme Review.
Brought to you by Kaboomracks. I get this question all the time. Nico, where should I buy Bitcoin miners? The answer is Kaboomracks. It's the best place to buy Bitcoin miners. That's where you're going to find the best deals and the best prices. Start your mining utopia today. To check out their racks, you got to go to t.me/Kaboomracks. Join their Telegram group and start your mining journey today. Kaboomracks.
Let's go. Hold on, Nico. I just hit you in the in the DMs. That was fun, bro. That was fun. All right. Anyways, you already know the deal. Kaboom, Rex. This is the meme review. Continue to tag us in memes on Twitter. Continue to send us the memes in our Telegram group. I do my best to try to get as many as possible. Obviously, I can't get to all of them, and I do try to craft a little narrative in the meme review as well. But tweets are the bullets, memes are the artillery. We are obviously in an information war, and you need to continue to spread the signal, get the calls of actions out there. And of course, the most important aspect is ridicule the corporate press, and then also make your friends laugh while we continue to win. Anyways, this first meme is by @BitcoinSapiens, and it looks like he has one of these Mid-Journey AI pictures here, and it's the Bitcoin logo, and it almost looks like, I don't know, computer or, I don't know, some kind of wiring.
It's an AI image.
But what is it? Like some kind of circuit board here? I don't know. Anyway,
no one knows.
No one knows. I really like the...
But read the thing.
That's this... Thank you, Nico. I really like the tweet here, and it's a quote from Max Kaiser, and it goes, Bitcoin touches some very deep wiring in our minds if you let it. And what do we say all the time? You don't change Bitcoin. Bitcoin changes you. I've experienced it. Nico's experienced it. Multiple Bitcoin friends have also experienced it. Once you get on the Bitcoin standard, something changes in your brain and you view the world completely different. And I think that it is a phenomenon of Bitcoin. And this is what excites me the most about it, is seeing people change their lives for the better because of Bitcoin. Anyways, this next meme is by Simple BTC app. And he goes, me at age 29. And it goes, my parents at age 29. Let's put 10% of our paychecks in government bonds. And your Chad grandfather or your Chad dad said yes. And it goes, me at age 29, time to overthrow the banking industry. Let's fucking go.
So he's like on a level, like time to overthink. It's deeper than that. Bitcoin, like there's levels to it, right? Which is like, okay, it's going to change banking. It's going to whatever. But if you get, like, I would say towards the end of that rabbit hole, you really get to another conclusion, which is Bitcoin is going to fundamentally change the relationship between governments and individuals. And I really believe in the thesis from the sovereign individual. I really freaking believe in that thesis where over a long period of time, it's going to force governments to rather change their behavior from like this extortion type of thing that they're doing today to a more type of business type of relationship with people, because Bitcoin gives you two powers. It gives you the power to vote with your wallet, but it also gives you the power to vote with your feet. And I think as more governments try to force people into central bank digital currencies, I think you're going to see a flight. I think you're going to see people like, you're going to get to a point where Bitcoiners in that said country are going to say, enough is enough. I'm going to move to El Salvador. And someone was kind of joking around in the chat, like when Nico and Opti, like when are you guys going to move to El Salvador? Opti and I joke about this all the time. We're like, look, we're going to try to hold it down here, hold the freaking line. But if all else fails, like, yeah, I'm going to El Salvador. Absolutely. I mean, look at what's going on over there. That gives me hope versus the CBDC stuff. Like, it's dystopian AF. Anyways, Opti, sorry to take it over.
No, hey, sometimes people need the context, but let's go to the next meme. It's RDBTC, and he goes, hodl on and chill. And I really felt this one because I don't look at the Bitcoin price. I literally only look at the price to tell you guys what it is in spaces, but this is the feeling I usually get. And he goes, me checking the Bitcoin price once a day, and it's got Squidward from SpongeBob, and he's tanning and he lifts his sunglasses and he looks at the price and he's just unaffected, doesn't matter, getting his sun in, eating well, enjoying the journey because we are absolutely winning. Anyways, this next meme is by my boy Ropium, and he goes, did you stack today, Anon? And we got this kangaroo with laser eye over here with a burning building behind him, and he goes, the kangaroo's thinking, we do a little stackity stack today, and the burning building is the global financial system. I had this revelation over the weekend in Miami. One of my friends, I continuously use the metaphor of we are just telling people to put on the oxygen mask on a plane that is about to crash. And he corrected me. He's like, no, Opti, you have this mistaken. This is not good messaging by telling people the plane is crashing. You are a stewardess telling people how the mask and the oxygen mask works before the plane crashes. And I'm like,
I would have loved to be in that conversation.
I'm like, oh my God, like that. Okay, like that is the framing, guys. We as Bitcoiners are the stewardess showing everyone how to protect themselves from the global financial system collapsing. But anyways, we got this little meme here. Stackity stack today. Did you stack today, Anon? Because it looks like the global financial system is burning. Anyways, I said I had a meme to continue the conversation earlier. Well, shouts out the Toxic Bitcoiner. Here's the meme. And we got this Chad Bitcoiner that he's not doing so well. He's eating Burger King and he's watching Twitch and he's wearing Supreme and he's got mind control. And it goes, maybe if I start working out, eating meat and stacking more, life would get better. And then he becomes the Chad Bitcoiner over here and he's jacked with laser eyes.
The Bitcoin standard, bro.
He goes, yep, that was it. The Bitcoin standard, eating steak, lifting heavy things. And I tell you guys this every single day in the spaces. get outside, touch grass, eat good food, hang out with your friends, lift some heavy shit, and your life will improve. It is very simple. Anyways, this next meme,
science.
It's trust the science. All right, this next meme is by the Bitcoin therapist, aka at the BTC therapist.
Dropping that a lot, bro.
It's science, bro. All right, you guys stack for your future wifey, hashtag BTC, and
they say that. No, but I'm serious. Like they say it all the time. It's like, bro, just believe the narratives, trust the science. I'm gonna say the same shit,
bro.
Stack stats is good for you. Trust the science.
Yeah, stack stats. It's honestly, I'm sure someone out there can get the backup for this. All
trust
right.
the science.
Trust the science. Stack stats. Stay humble. It's simple. Anyways, this next meme is a couple proposing, and the girl over here, she's crying. She's about to get proposed to, and it goes, "Your future wife is the girl crying," and then the guy proposing goes, "Someone who stacks sats when you didn't." Do not let your future wife marry someone because you didn't stack sats today, guys. This is the way. This is how you guys get girlfriends or wives.
Opti's been savage today with the memes and stuff.
Dude, we are not taking shots today. Okay, this next one is by Wojak Bitcoin Memes.
Rusted must have gotten fucking ham.
hey, it's a new week. We're feeling good. All right, and he goes, the bull bear market cycle, and it goes, shitcoiners make bear markets make Bitcoin maxis make bull markets, and bull markets make shitcoiners. As much as I wish we are never going to see another shitcoin bull market, I'm convinced people will always buy stupid things. They will want to gamble. So I'm convinced we will be seeing a shitcoin bull market soon, but Bitcoin's gonna go up forever, Laura. Oh forever, wow, Laura. Look at Nico.
Yeah, this is my score. It's a swan hat. It's a swan hat.
All right, perfect. Actually, drop your meme. Hold on, drop your meme review score in the chat over there so we can cover it live. All right, my meme review score. Essentially, we're talking about Saifedean. I picked up his new book at the conference, Principles of Economics.
Did he sign it?
He did sign it.
He said, "Dear Opti."
Of course, he says. I can't read it actually.
Dear Opti,
but it does say to Opti.
Dear Opti, you slayed it with Chrissy. Thank you. Taking one for the team.
Dude, he's got worse handwriting than me. So shouts out to Saifedean.
I didn't say that.
It's all right,
dude. Opti said it.
It's all right. It's all right. If you have bad handwriting, that means that you just think faster than your hand. That means you're smart. At least that's what I tell myself because my handwriting is absolute chicken scratch. Anyways, I haven't read this yet, but my boy, our writer, Base Kraken, he got a pre-read of it and he says it's absolutely incredible. We did drop a review of it on our Substack. Go read it. I am excited to read this because every book of Saifedean's is absolutely legendary.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of like you have the Thomas Sowell book, right? Which is like basic economics and then principles of it. I feel like that's like the next evolution. Yeah, because you need Bitcoin, like you need that fundamental building block. Anyways, guys, before we get to the live scores,
hold on, it's gonna be a must read for every economics class moving forward from here on out.
El Salvador, I'm bullish on El Salvador. Anyways. Before we get on to the meme scores, I want to give a shout out to our clothing sponsor, Opti and I wear the merch every single day. I'm wearing the classic Simply Bitcoin camo hoodie. Opti's wearing the Simply Bitcoin shirt. You can only get this merch on representltd.com. You can use the promo code Simply-Bitcoin. Get yourself a nice discount. Scan the QR code on the screen right now, and it'll take you directly to the classic snapback Simply Bitcoin hat, only on representltd.com. You can use promo code Simply-Bitcoin, get yourself a nice discount. Anyways, Opti.
I like this first score, Nico. That's a good one.
We got Steve Dre.
Wait. We need the music, dude. I forgot the music last week. We need the music.
Okay.
It's not the same without the music.
All right. Steve Dre, one alien monolith from the backside of the moon. Elaine Lowell, Bukele becomes the leader standard and sets the trend for leaders across the world. I completely agree. I completely agree, Elaine. The P-Man Van, I give those memes. Opti starting his own Me Too movement, speaking his truth. Trust the science. A Miami girl rejected by wine but recommended for Opti. When wine rates your value as a person as 0.069 NAX and then recommends you call Opti instead, wrecked. Linus building his legend, bro. I like it. I like it. All right. The planet Earth giving these memes crashing Hex shitcoin. Good morning.
Oh, yeah. Nice. I heard Hex got wrecked today.
Very, very nice. And then
Bitcoin for Canadian. We got a few more.
Oh, okay. I give the memes this nice cold craft beer I bought with Bitcoin. Very nice. Very nice. Very nice. Next one, Pandora Box HQ. My meme score is the ITER fusion reactor plugged on Bitcoin. Ooh,
window.
That's some sauce. Jose says, I give the memes an opti drunk handwriting with a spice of Saifedean. And
dude,
Igor,
my handwriting's horrible, drunk or sober, so that's fake news.
Igor, I give the memes just a tip. Just a tip. If you know, you know. It's basic biology. I give the memes an Austrian economist who can write Arabic. Very, very nice. Very, very nice. Bushmaster, Jelen calling Saifedean for advice. Okay. Very, very nice. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Simply Bitcoin Live. If you enjoyed the show, you know what to do. Smash that like button. If you feel like we provided you value, consider subscribing. But the number one thing you could do to help this channel and help push the peaceful Bitcoin revolution is share this content. In fact, share all Bitcoin content. Get it out there. Don't share shitcoin content. Shitcoins are bad for you. It's counterproductive. But share Bitcoin content. Get the orange signal out there. I'm your host, Nico. You can follow me on Twitter, Bitvault7. This is my co-host, Optimus. You can follow him on Twitter at Optimus Fields. If you want to join us in the after party, which we co-host with the best place to build your Bitcoin stack, swan.com. It's going on for another half an hour until 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Shout out to the best producer in the game, producer Jacob. We're hosting a Twitter Spaces, which is live right now. Get your chance to hang out with Opti. Just hang out, get up in the audience and say your bit. And we'll be doing that for another half an hour. Until then, we will see you tomorrow for another episode of Simply Bitcoin Live. Peace out, everybody.